It's like a government cover-up.
It's a cover.
You were attacked.
Yes.
You were attacked by an energy weapon.
Yes, a directed energy weapon.
The intelligence community has attempted to thwart congressional investigative efforts to uncover the truth at every turn. I mean, that sounds like a government cover-up.
It's a cover-up, and it's terrifying. And it should be terrifying to all Americans.
The new congressional report found it appears increasingly likely that a foreign adversary is behind these injuries. Vertigo,
Yes.
eye tracking issues,
Yes.
traumatic brain injuries. Yes. Did the CIA gaslight you?
Me and every other age I've heard. It was designed to make us think ourselves are crazy and question our own injuries.
Is it reasonable to think that the intelligence community doesn't want to acknowledge a foreign adversary?
Yes.
This Defense Department letter is significant.
Yes.
We believe your experiences are real. What explains this disconnect? We have a Defense Department letter, and yet the intelligence community, the CIA, says there's nothing to see here.
The brave people of the Department of Defense willing to stand up to the CIA. If they're politicizing this, what else are they not telling the president? And that's scary.
The intelligence community has attempted to thwart congressional investigative efforts to uncover the truth at every turn. I mean, that sounds like a government cover-up.
It's a cover-up, and it's terrifying. And it should be terrifying to all Americans.
Now requiring the aid of a service dog, just a few years ago, this retired CIA officer handled national security missions, which remain classified to this day.
At that time, what was your portfolio?
I am not at liberty to share.
Alice, an alias, speaking out for the first time about debilitating injuries reported among hundreds of U.S. government personnel.
The new congressional report found that it appears increasingly likely that a foreign adversary is behind these injuries. Your reaction?
Thank God they're saying it. Thank God they were brave enough to stand up to the CIA.
The Republican House report accuses the intelligence community leadership, the CIA, and the Director of National Intelligence of shaping a politically palatable conclusion.
If they're politicizing this, what else are they not telling the president? And that's scary. That's where it becomes more real.
A decade ago, this national security memo confirmed intelligence about a high-powered microwave system weapon that may have the ability to weaken, intimidate, or kill an enemy over time. Nicknamed Havana Syndrome after a cluster of cases in Cuba, the mysterious cognitive and neurological symptoms strike diplomatic, intelligence, and military personnel.
You were attacked.
Yes.
You were attacked by an energy weapon.
Yes, a directed energy weapon. My ear started hurting. I started having vertigo. The room was spinning. My head started pulsing. It hurt so badly. And I had a ton of pain in my left ear. And my ears started ringing. And I thought I was going to pass out.
The official name is Anomalous Health Incidents, or AHIs. The recent congressional report found they have been reported domestically as well as abroad, including Austria, China, Colombia, Georgia, Germany, India, Poland, Russia, and Vietnam.
I was serving in Africa, and I experienced an anomalous health incident in my home Saturday night, and I heard a weird noise. It was a really weird sound. I'll never forget it. And after about a second or two, I felt it in my feet, kind of like the reverb from a speaker.
So you're feeling a vibration. So
I heard a noise, a weird noise, and then I felt it.
So what do you think the weapon looks
I
like?
think that there are probably multiple weapons. I think there are weapons that can be fit in backpacks, ones that can be fit in the trunks of cars, ones that can be planted at a position of line of sight to people from across the street.
Based on our investigative reporting, many victims were assigned portfolios linked to Russian interests, from cybersecurity to election interference and disinformation. Others had specialized language skills.
This government record says that you have a traumatic brain injury.
I believe the Russian GRU came to my house late at night and took me off the battlefield.
Russian intelligence, yes.
Alice's injuries are so debilitating, she needed multiple breaks during our interview. At times, she wore dark glasses to blunt the studio lights.
Let's talk about the symptoms you've experienced. Ringing in the ears, vertigo, yes. Head and ear pressure, yes. Eye tracking issues, yes. Cognitive difficulties, traumatic brain injuries. Taken all together, is it a struggle every day? Yes.
I never thought I'd be retired in my 40s.
Medically retired. Do you feel like your old self died the day of the attack?
A little bit, I was paid for my brain. I was paid for my ability to write well and to write for the president. I was paid to meet with foreigners and to get information that would help advance U.S. security objectives. And I can't do that anymore the way I used to, and that's one of the hardest parts.
As cases spiked in 2021, the same year Alice says she was attacked, multiple sources told us CIA Director Burns said privately that it was his personal belief Russia was behind some of the attacks.
Has CIA Director Burns, based on your experience, tried to do the right thing?
I think he's a really good person at his core. I think he was being honest when he said he thought it was Russia. He is a Russian expert. He was the U.S. ambassador there. I think it's a sign of how political this is that even he fell in line.
While experts uncovered evidence suggesting a weapon, in 2023, the intelligence community took a controversial position that it's very unlikely a foreign adversary is responsible.
If I had received the finished paper on my desk as a team chief, I would have sent it back to the analysts and said, you have to start over again. It didn't meet any of our most basic trade crash standards.
Was the 2023 report a slap in the face?
Completely.
Was it demoralizing? Yes. Humiliating? Yes. Was it a betrayal after you pledged to serve your country? Yes.
I miss my colleagues and I miss the work every single day. It was really tough work.
But you love the work. Merriam-Webster defines gaslighting as psychological manipulation that causes the victim to question the validity of their own thoughts. Did the CIA gaslight you?
Me and every other agent.
Was the CIA gaslighting designed to hurt you?
It was designed to make us think ourselves are crazy and to question our own injuries.
Did you expect more from the CIA?
100%. We swore this oath, and every day I watch them continue to deny people's humanity and their injuries.
Is it reasonable to think that the intelligence community doesn't want to acknowledge a foreign adversary?
Yes.
Because then they would have to do something.
Yes. And it's complicated with Russia, right? One theory we bet around is it possible that's Russia and China? Is it possible that one country created it, sold it, or gave it to another country?
While the CIA still questions the cause, the Labor Department does accept Alice's traumatic brain injury as a work injury. Alice qualifies for limited compensation through a law called the Havana Act.
It is a full-time job to try to get medical treatment, and is another full-time job to try to handle the bureaucracy of trying to access benefits. I've gotten over $100,000 in out of pocket for this.
$100,000.
Because none of these places take health insurance. And if they're experimental, which we need, the reality is a normal physician cannot help us. This is different. AHIs are much more complicated, and we're basically ticking time bombs, Catherine. I've already started having to go to funerals. Friends of mine. My friend that was with me the day I got my dog has already passed away. A fellow AHI survivor of a rare form of cancer. I have friends in nursing homes. I have friends with dementia and Parkinson's. In some ways, people have a heart attack. And if you don't die of it, we know how to fix a heart attack. We don't know how to fix this.
According to these heavily redacted government records, after Alice was medically retired, the CIA pulled her security clearance, citing psychological conditions.
It sounds like retaliation.
Yes, my lawyers also believed that as well.
Did CIA treat women officers
differently. Yes.
I've done some reporting where I've heard complaints that female officers were told, do you think you're having problems because of your hormones?
Yes. Yes. It's like we're in the 1950s. Pregnant, they brought up, could you be pregnant? Are you upset because you're not pregnant? Is it hormones? Is it menopause? Is it perimenopause? Do you have an anxiety disorder?
Were any of the men asked if their hormones were to blame for their
I know
symptoms?
Not that I am aware of. I'm not saying that men have been treated well, but nothing to the extent. There hasn't been a systemic action against them.
After recent government studies found no medical explanation for their symptoms, senior military officials sent this letter obtained by our investigative team that validates their experiences, reaffirms a commitment to identify the cause.
This Defense Department letter is significant. It states, we believe your experiences are real, and we are unwaveringly committed to continue to provide quality care for you and those who are eligible.
The Department of Defense believes us and has actually gone to bat for those of us from across the U.S. government. I would not be getting care if it wasn't for senior DoD leadership.
What explains this disconnect? We have a Defense Department letter that says, we believe you, and yet the intelligence community, the CIA, says there's nothing to see here.
The brave people of the Department of Defense that have worked on this issue and were willing to stand up to the CIA.
Is it fair to assess that the CIA, the intelligence community, is that this story is bad for recruitment? This story is bad for retention.
This is true. I don't know if that's why they were doing it. This is terrible for recruitment and retention.
After so many years of quiet advocacy, why come forward now?
Because the CIA is betraying, and not just betraying, but like making friends of mine and my life a living hell. I want them to stop denying what is happening to us, and so there can be opportunities to collect the information that we need, so that we can prevent this from happening to more people.
Will a Trump-Vance administration make a change?
I really hope so.
What would the change look like?
I'm not sure, the phrase cleaning up the swamp, is thrown around a lot in DC, but at a bare minimum, I do not believe that those people that were involved in the earlier report should be allowed to touch this. I think they need to actually recuse themselves or should be replaced.
You know what the CIA is going to say. We're so sorry some of these former employees are struggling, but we don't see that there's any there.
They're also going to say that we take every reported case seriously and we're committed to taking care of our people. And that's what hurts so much. Because they're not.